Minions. My experience with shadow figures and the house I lived in. What are minions? Minions is the name I gave them, but many people, rightfully so, call them shadowy figures. No matter what time period the story emerges from, the story or description given is the same. Someone experiencing unexplained activity in their house, in most cases, malevolent activity, or reports seeing shadowy figures moving out of the corner of their eyes. The Bothell house is no exception. I remember the first time I saw one, and eventually 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. I was sitting in my office upstairs, bouncing between surfing the internet and watching TV. By this time, we had multiple activities. Objects catching fire, Bibles catching fire, small, medium, and large objects thrown, loud bangs, phantom footsteps, door slams, wall tapping, lights going off and on by themselves, bed sheets yanked clean off you while you're sleeping. These are the signs of a poltergeist infestation. So is seeing shadowy figures out of the corner of your eye. There I am, watching TV, minding my own business, which, by the way, is the perfect time for poltergeists to do something. And they do. My office upstairs. The layout is structured in a way where I can see the upstairs hallway and my doorway at all times while watching TV. And that's when it happened, from left to right. I'm watching TV, and all of a sudden, I see movement out of the corner of my left eye. I turn in the direction of the movement. The brain does that instinctively. And there it is. This miniature creature looking like a gremlin creeps across my doorway, sort of hunched over and yet standing tall, walking stilted like, from left to right until it crosses the complete doorway. It's gone from being in my peripheral view to being in my complete view. I'm not quite sure what it is I'm seeing. In my opinion, that's the human brain in denial as to what's really happening, in denial of what it's actually seeing. This thing, for lack of a better word, tiptoes across my doorway until it gets to the next bedroom to the right of me and disappears. I got up a few seconds later to investigate. I go to the room. I saw whatever it was creeping into, and of course, nothing is there. There will be multiple occurrences such as this in the Bothell house. Anyone who's seen a shadow figure will tell you there's nothing like the first time. The first time, like most poltergeist incidents, breaks the seal. What do I mean by that? Weeks after the incident, I began seeing more than one shadowy figure. Oh yeah, multiple shadowy figures. No longer moving left to right, no, now walking directly towards me. But this is the interesting part. As they move closer to you, it looks like they're moving further away and vice versa. For reasons I can't explain, go in and out of frame, meaning they disappear and reappear, sometimes closer to you when they originally appeared. Sometimes they reappear further away. Why is that? But why the term minions? Well, based on what I've seen, and I've seen a lot, these shadowy figures, I believe, were responsible for 85% of the geist activity in our house. I believe minions, what some call shadowy figures, are responsible for the majority of poltergeist activities. The EVP's unexplained voices captured by paranormal teams and parapsychologists from the US and UK, over 600 plus to be exact, suggests these shadowy figures, i.e. minions, work in tandem. They groupthink. They're the ones that poke me at night while sleeping. They pull sheets clean off the bed while I'm still sleeping. They're responsible for the mattress indentations, the pulsating I feel coming from my bed mattress and pillow. Yes, pulsating, like a heartbeat. Indentations, like invisible paw prints, like a stealth invisible small pet, like the small cat or a small dog making its way towards you while you're laying in bed. Awake or asleep, it doesn't matter. You feel the indentation nonetheless until it reaches you. Then suddenly, a swoosh feeling. I liken it to touching those electric cattle fences that farmers and ranchers use to control their cattle. I touched one by accident as a kid. The swoosh I felt after whatever it was reached me. That sudden jolt, not painful, but very uncomfortable, frozen, numbing, tingling, and in some instances, euphoric, if that makes sense. But the biggest shock of all, the one that sort of relieved me the second I heard about it, and rightfully so, someone else, a previous tenant at that, experienced the same thing is proof I'm not crazy. When I finally got a hold of one of the previous tenants of the Bothell house, a family that lived in the house about 5 years ago before we did, the mom told me her son saw shadowy figures out of the corner of his eye. His bedroom is now my office. But it gets scarier. In 2014, when she finally reached out to me, she said he occasionally tells her he still sees them out of the corner of his eye today. 5 years later, ladies and gentlemen, after they moved out of the Bothell house, that worried me. And guess what? 7 years after moving out of the Bothell house, I still occasionally see them, as do some of my friends who associate with me, especially those who have a self-sense of righteousness. Make of that what you will.